Coming up on News 2, were some of the Bureau of Corrections officers placed on leave? It's been a week since 13 officers in St. Thomas were accused of allegedly staging a job action. An update. And the Board of Elections in both the St. Croix and the St. Thomas St. John districts certified the election results last week, but there's been some controversy. Plus, were those cash registers ringing in the VI as much as they were in the U.S.? Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. The Board of Elections in both the St. Croix and St. Thomas St. John districts certified the election results last week, Wednesday, but there's been some controversy over how the meeting ended, and some voters are concerned they may be denied their due process to file a petition for a recount. News 2's Erica Bivens has details.
Last Wednesday, the St. Croix Board of Elections certified their election district results, followed by the St. Thomas St. John district. However, in St. Thomas,
Johnson and there was a motion by member Daniel, was second and carried with 3 votes, 2 no votes.
Members Lorna Thomas and Colette White Amaro voted against the motion, which passed anyway, with Alicia Wells, Larry Bashulta, and Harry Daniel voting for it. But what does it mean?
That means that there's nothing else to come before the board until January 6th when the new board is sworn into office.
Which is why Harriet Mercer, a former Board of Elections candidate, is not filing a petition for a recount.
Asking for a recount sounds impossible because they're not going to even answer you. They've not answered our primary challenge. They've not answered our general challenge, and so forth. Certainly it doesn't make sense to ask for that. What we do need is a re-election period.
Mercer's vote counts are drastically different from the certified results released by the board, even though she and other candidates attended the counting sessions. She says that's enough to warrant a new election. But others are first working on filing a petition for a recount. According to VI Code in Chapter 23, Section 629, any candidate can call for a recount not more than 7 days after the election has been certified. That means petitions must be filed by Wednesday. Board Chair Alicia Wells says although they have no plans to meet again, challenges or petitions can still be turned into the board through the deputy supervisor.
Mabel Madura receives whatever it is, she'll have them, and then she'll know what to do with them.
If a petition for a recount is filed, the board must decide within 3 days whether a recount will take place. If the board decides in favor of a recount, it shall be held within 10 days of the petition filing, and the recount must be public. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
Now, if the board decides not to grant the recount, it shall record reasons for the decision. The aggrieved candidate may also appeal their case to the district court within 5 days of the board's decision, which can also render a decision. After several months, the VI Port Authority has named Senator Carlton Dow as its new director. Senator Dow has served in the legislature for a total of 10 years and is currently chair of the Finance Committee. He says he's ready for the new challenge that lies ahead.
Well, I'm excited. I'm interested more so to get to work and try to meet with the board as soon as possible and find out, get their roadmap in terms of what are those challenges. I know that the dredging is out front, that they could accommodate larger vessels in 2014. That's the biggest problem I think that they're facing currently. So I'm ready to go to work when that time comes. I'll be discussing other initiatives that I might be putting forth to the board and anxious to meet with the employees and just try to move the port forward.
On Wednesday, November 21st, a school bus on its way to Crawford Day School in Anda's Hope on St. Croix was involved in an accident. 3 students, a special education aide, and the bus driver were aboard. The occupants were transported to the Juan Louis Hospital by ambulance. 2 students were treated for minor injuries and released. The 3rd student suffered a broken arm, was treated and remained in the hospital for observation. The aide suffered minor injuries and was kept for additional x-rays. The driver of the school bus left hospital premises on her own accord. It's been a week since 13 correction officers on St. Thomas were accused of allegedly staging a job action. According to the officers, they only wanted to meet with officials to discuss alarming working conditions with the corrections system. Since then, several officers have been put on administrative leave and say that officials within the Bureau of Corrections want to meet with them on Tuesday. News2's Alison Born-Finneck has that story.
Both the Criminal Justice Complex and the Alva A. Swan Annex are now without 7 correction officers since last week's alleged job action. A job action that these officers say was a misunderstanding.
The only thing the correction officers and myself wanted was one thing: to have a meeting with the director to deal with these issues, these safety issues in the Bureau of Correction.
But the safety issues have not yet been discussed, according to the officers, not even during last week's hearings over the alleged job action. And while understaffing and safety was a concern before, it's even more so now.
They have 7 of us on unpaid administrative leave. The issue is we are understaffed. So you're going to put 7 officers out and you're understaffed? What are you doing to the institution?
To address the staffing shortfall, the Bureau of Corrections stated, quote, "We asked LESU supervisors to give up their days off, which some graciously have. And we, as in BOC leadership, have also committed to additional hours toward ensuring the necessary coverage of the facility in line with all standard security guidelines."
I've heard people working 24-hour shift. Hey, the jail is short, so people are trying to pitch in wherever they can.
For now, the 7 correction officers on administrative leave say they don't know when they'll be back on the job or if they'll get a chance to discuss safety concerns. But they may find out more answers on Tuesday when they meet again with officials from the Bureau of Corrections.
I hope in the meeting is to get us back to work so we can, be professional like we are, go back to work and deal with any situation at the Bureau of Correction and put the Bureau of Correction back to the normalcy that it needs to be at.
Alison Bourne-Vanack, News 2.
News 2 will have more on Tuesday's meeting between the officials at the Bureau of Corrections and the officers. Police on St. Croix are investigating the non-fatal shooting of a man on Saturday near the Frederiksted Fish Market. According to the initial police report, the victim told police he was securing the rear door of Ken's Bar on Strand Street when he was approached by an unknown person who demanded money and took his wallet. The victim said the shooter fired 2 shots, one hitting him in the thigh. The shooter fled the scene by foot. Anyone with information should call detectives at 712-6077 or call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS. One person is dead and another is charged with murder after a family dispute. 27-year-old Anthony Lloyd was arrested less than 2 hours after the crime. Police were called to a residence in Estate Montbijou just a few minutes before 7 a.m. Saturday. They found the unresponsive body of the victim, later identified as 56-year-old Languedoc Ainsworth. The victim had several puncture wounds on various parts of his body. Lloyd was arrested the same day and charged with murder in the first degree. Police believe that a large kitchen knife recovered may have been used in the murder. Detectives said the victim was dating the suspect's mother. And police are hoping someone can identify an assault victim who is presently under doctor's care. The male victim was discovered in the female bathroom shower stall on Megan's Bay Beach on November 24th around 7 a.m. He was not carrying any form of identification. He is a white male of undetermined age with light blue eyes. His hair is white and low cut with slight balding at the top of his head. He also has a mustache and beard. Detectives said on Monday that the victim is in stable condition and improving. Please contact detectives at 715-5522 or 715-5516. A police officer is being treated for an injury after confronting suspects who were fleeing from a robbery in progress at Champs in the Sunny Isles Shopping Center. The Virgin Islands Police Department released the name of the officer, Amelie Lockhart. Police say they encountered at least 2 suspects fleeing on foot from the area. Shots were fired and the officer was wounded by a bullet which struck his left foot. Detectives say an undetermined amount of cash was taken by the suspects from the store. Police located a firearm that may have been used behind the shopping center. Police Commissioner Henry White said the officer was in good spirits. Officer Lockhart graduated from the Police Academy in May 2010. Please call detectives if you have any information that may assist. Turning our attention stateside, there are new signs that lawmakers are open to a compromise that will prevent taxes from going up for millions of Americans in January. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from Washington on the scramble to prevent the U.S. economy from tumbling over the fiscal cliff.
The Senate returns today with just 5 weeks left to hammer out a deal to avoid the fiscal cliff. Republican Senator Bob Corker says lawmakers need to show some political courage to prevent tax increases and spending cuts from taking effect January 1st.
There's a menu of options on the revenue side and on the entitlement side, and as long as there are two parties that are willing to solve this problem, this is a very easy thing to do technically.
Republicans are hinting they may be open to a compromise that raises revenue, but many are still firm they won't let Bush-era tax cuts expire for the wealthiest Americans.
I would be very much opposed to raising tax rates, but I do believe we can close a lot of loopholes.
Democrats say just closing loopholes and limiting deductions is not enough to make a dent in the nation's $16 trillion deficit.
You've got to raise additional revenues, including tax rates on the wealthy.
Those have to go up.
They have to go up.
But many Republicans believe the best way to close the gap is to reform entitlement programs like Social Security and Medicare. Democrats aren't on board yet.
My concern about raising that Medicare retirement age is there'll be gaps in coverage or coverage that's way too expensive for seniors to purchase.
And with the fiscal cliff looming, White House economists are now warning shoppers concerned about a tax increase may not spend as much this holiday season. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
And keeping our eye on the economy, millions of Americans let their fingers do the shopping on this Cyber Monday. Americans were expected to spend $1.5 billion in what should be the biggest online shopping day of the year. A record 247 million Americans shopped over the Thanksgiving weekend, 22 million more than last year. The National Retail Federation says spending over this Thanksgiving weekend totaled about $59 billion. But White House economists are warning that the threat of tax hikes next year from middle-class taxpayers could hurt consumer confidence during the holiday shopping season. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank stock market watch. The Dow down 42, NASDAQ up 9, S&P down 2. Coming up on News 2, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We heard about how the U.S. did, but what was the turnout here in the Virgin Islands on two of the biggest shopping days for the holidays? Were those registers ringing? We'll be right back. Innovative cable TV St. Croix has been experiencing technical difficulties that impacted various channels this week. This matter is currently being addressed with the installation of a new microwave dish and transmitter. The installation process has begun and should be complete by the end of this week. CBS TV2 also experienced technical difficulties due to defective head-end equipment that caused intermittent outages on Thanksgiving Day. Work is underway by CBS TV2's technicians. Innovative Cable TV St. Croix and CBS TV2 apologize for any inconvenience this may cause viewing audiences. Innovative is the parent company of CBS TV2. Well, Black Friday is one of the most anticipated and hectic days of the year, and it's no different here in the territory. News 2's James Gardner went to a few of the stores to find out how Black Friday went at home.
Across the country, Black Friday is known as a major shopping day for retailers, and the territory is no exception. News 2 went around to a few popular shopping spots to see how sales went for them. Some of the smaller, more specialized stores, such as Techbox and St. Thomas, saw lines forming outside in the early morning hours.
Last year we did a bundle where we kind of kept it open all day long and people came in and purchased a bundle. This year we tried to limit the bundles to actually make it a little bit fun. Get some people to line up, get a better deal the earlier you come, and there was a fight outside. so it worked. You know, we had security to keep it under control.
But some of the bigger retailers, such as Kmart and Office Max, said that while they saw the same amount of customers in the stores, sales were down from previous years.
I think people were more selective. They weren't looking for as many items as they did last year, but overall we had a good crowd, but I think people were shopping a little less. We didn't bank all our money in just winning Black Friday. We actually started early in the week and we had some good promotions going, including an employee ad on Sunday. So we broke even for the week, but we slowed a little bit on Black Friday.
It was a little less profitable. We know that the economy that we are in right now is a lot less, but we did very well also in compared to past years.
While local sales have dipped a bit, Retailers said that they still hope that Cyber Monday and Christmas sales will still make up for it. For News 2, this is James Gardner.
And now that the holiday season is officially upon us, everyone's favorite jolly old elf, Santa Claus, can be seen almost anywhere and at any time. Sunday, Santa made an appearance at Cane Bay Beach on St. Croix's North Shore. Sitting under a palm tree and with the help of a few elves, Santa took Christmas present requests from good little and not so little girls and boys. There were the usual requests for dolls, bikes, and various toys, as well as a couple of different requests, a red Corvette, a waterproof saddle. All in all, Santa always loves visiting the VI.
It was beautiful weather coming down here to the Virgin Islands. One of my favorite vacation places right before I have to do all my journeys around the world. I really love it here.
Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.